Howdy y'all, Big Country here, Big Country WV, and we are here in my chair. And I'm gonna try and get this video out as quick as I can, get this out of me, like say what I want to say, quick as I can, because my battery's getting low. But anyway, hunting. I got kind of laughing and thinking, well, as I was washing my clothes in the scent, dead downwind or whatever the scent eliminating stuff that I've got is. And it was kind of funny to me that I'm doing that, and I've been doing that for years. But we never did that growing up. We never, I don't even know if there was a scent lock thing on the market for anything other than like your big professional hunters that have like outdoor channel sponsorships and stuff. I don't know that there was that when I was growing up, and there might have been. I never knew it, because we didn't use it. You know what we did is we would wash our clothes in whatever the soap that we were washing our clothes in, and then we would go hang it out on the porch so it could kind of air out in the outside air. And then we'd bring it inside long enough to get it warmed up before we'd go out into the woods that day. And that's what we did. And there was the barnyard, and we had, depending on what point in my childhood it was, and there we either had horses, cows, or goats, or a combination of the three. And so you go and you found some manure, because the animals were able to run all over our property, and go find some manure, step your boots into it, which doesn't sound the most appetizing or appealing for most people, but it's what we did. And you know, when you're on a farm, got animals, walking in animal crap doesn't bother you. So for city folks, you get that, you know. But and we had stands that we had built, but a lot of the times we just hunted on the ground. We just went and found us a spot by a tree, sat down, or walked and stalked. Learned how to move around in the woods. Take a few steps when you've got some cover. You know, not getting caught out in the middle of a field, keeping to some cover or concealment. Take a few steps, real slow. Wait for traffic or wind or some noise to kind of block your, drown out some of your sound, some of your movement sounds. That kind of stuff, like that basic stuff. And what I'm seeing in like the hunting communities, and I see it in that, I see it in the prepping communities, which I don't necessarily consider myself a prepper because it has become so much of that. I see it even in the homesteading communities, which I would consider myself as like a homesteader kind of country guy. I don't really know what put a label on me, right? But I see, people they get so caught up into the buy stuff. They've got their scent lock, matching scent lock, camouflage on, and of course they've got to put their orange vest on to be legal. So it's like, why bother wearing camouflage? You're putting this big old blaze orange vest on it, like clearly the deer don't care as long as you've got something to break up your body's outline. It doesn't really have to be camouflage. The best, as Fred Bear put it, and this might not be an exact quote, I might be paraphrasing a little bit. The best camouflage pattern is sit down and shut up. Your grandpa killed deer in a red checker coat. And that's the thing, is people get the blinds and they get the fancy camouflage and the fancy gewgaws and stuff for their rifle, and I'm not knocking anybody doing that. People get deer feeders and feed corn to the deer or apples or whatever attractants that they want, and then they set up their blind and they've got a lawn chair in their blind, and snacks and a heater and all of that stuff. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. And you do you. I'm a back to the basics guy. The thing that I'm seeing, and this is the real problem, is that so many people seem to be relying so much on this store-bought kind of technology. This, the blinds and the camo and the the heated shooting house and the feeder and all of that. And hunters have just gotten kind of lazy. Like, guys will just get on their four-wheeler and ride their four-wheeler right up to their stand or their blind or whatever, and then they'll go in there, unzip the blind, show the windows out, flip their heater on, and sit down in their lawn chair and crack open a Bear Claw and a Mountain Dew. I mean, that's so many guys right now are doing that. And if that's how you want to hunt, by all means. But the problem with all that kind of stuff is it's so easy to get lazy and forget your basics. And just like anything else in life, you can buy all the cool stuff, but if you forget your basics, it's not going to help you. If you forget about your basics, how to move in the woods, how to be quiet, like those of you who hunt with a corn feeder and just like I described, sit a corn feeder out right in front of your hunting blind, walk into the woods one time. Pick a day and just walk right out into the woods, find you a tree and sit down. And away from your feeder, away from all of that kind of stuff, and just try it. And see how much stuff you've forgotten. Even if you knew it growing up, you knew how to move in the woods, you knew how to do all that kind of stuff. Just see how much you've forgotten about. And I'm saying this from someone who's experienced that. I had a guy who was hunting on me, and he set up the blinds, the heaters, the feeders, all of that stuff. And that's what he'd set that stuff up. And I came and I was able to use it when he wasn't there. And it was my property. And I grew to rely on it entirely too much. And so the last couple of years, or that first year after he moved all of his stuff out, like it was so, I realized just how much I had forgotten about with my basics, and I had to get back to those basics. And here's something else to think about. I'm a meat hunter. If you're a trophy hunter and it's just for the trophy and the hobby, then spending all that money doesn't matter to you because it's your hobby, it's something you enjoy throwing money at, right? I'm a meat hunter. I'm hunting because how in the heck do people afford to eat beef every day at the prices at the store? And, I can go out and for, a few pennies, with, one round of a 308, I can go out into the woods and I can sit down and I can go or I can walk and hunt, and I can go shoot a deer and then work it all up myself. And man, if you're paying somebody to work up your deer for you, you are not saving any money at all. And I'm not knocking anyone who does any of this, right? But it's something you've got to think about, and you can't let yourself get away from the basics and how to do this kind of stuff. And it's just human nature to get lax on it, lackadaisical. But when you're relying so much on these things, and like I said, insert your personal thing, prepping, homesteading, whatever, insert all of that, whatever, and you can come up with correlations to what I'm talking about. But I'm a meat hunter. I'm not looking to spend a gargantuan amount of money. I'm not looking to put corn out for the deer all the time. I'm not looking to spend all this money on a shooting blind and all of that. Like, I'm willing to rely on my skill as a hunter, my ability to move in the woods, to track, to sense the deer, smell them, hear them, see them. Well, they'd have to be pretty close where you smell them, but I don't know. When the bucks are in rut, you can smell that stink sacks from a little ways off. The wind's blowing right. Ask me how I know. But anyway, that's where I'm at. Just mull it over. Hopefully, there's something that you might call wisdom in this. Y'all have a good day. God bless.